to be seen on television.
That's so lower.
For Riverbend Today.
Hello everyone! Welcome to the new internet show coming to you live from the studios of the Young Broadcasters of America. I'm Garrett Tordo.
And I'm Ian Fisher on the first ever Riverbend Today show. We give you some information about our school. We will discuss the most powerful storm in our lifetime and the recent presidential election.
Over at the talk set is Nathan Carmichael. He will be leading our talk segment with Philip and Hudson.
Thanks, Garrett. I'm Nathan, and this is Philip and Hudson. Today we're going to be discussing some things like Superstorm Sandy and how the president is back in the White House. So, we lost power over the hurricane for a couple of minutes. Not very long.
I know that I lost at least 2 days worth, so. How much did you lose, Hudson?
Yeah, I lost 5 hours of power and part of my fence went down.
And that's too bad. I lost like 2 minutes.
Lucky.
The interesting thing about what I lost is I actually saw a tree that fell on the wire that was giving power to my house, and so I actually saw the demise of my Xbox. So.
I mean, the nice thing about this storm was that none of our transformers exploded, none of our trees fell down, our house didn't get wrecked, our basement didn't flood. I mean, that's what usually happens during the storm, so it went pretty well.
Yeah, and I also noticed that my friend, he told me this, that his tree that was next to his car actually fell in his car and broke the window and put a dent in his car, and now they're using a rental car, so Hurricane Sandy. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did any of you guys have a generator?
No.
We don't usually use a generator.
My friend had a generator.
All right, well.
My cats were pretty interested by the storm. They always sat at the windows, and then whenever there was a lightning strike, they would like fall over.
My dogs decided to go out the entire time, and it wasn't really smart on their part.
Yeah.
They're dogs.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's it. So let's give it back to Garrett and Ian.
Thanks guys. We have a lot of news for you today, but first let's talk about the Riverbend School itself. As an 8th grader, I've been going to the Riverbend School since last year. The school was founded when the Elliott Montessori School merged with Natick Montessori in 2009. The Montessori method promotes self-awareness and an approach to an innovative learning and a hands-on learning experience. It'll make kids self-confident, like myself, and this semester, YBA founder Jimmy Young has been visiting our class once a week, and we are learning about the broadcast business and some of the tricks of the trade.
But I can tell you this, you'll never have to go on camera for the first time again.
Jimmy Young wasn't the only special guest at school this fall. Dr. Hanoosh Sharma from the Math Center in Framingham visited our class last month. Riverbend Today's Nathan Carmichael sat down with him for some insight about the world of math and the importance of numbers.
Carmichael, and today with us we have Professor Sharma.
Hello.
Okay, Professor Sharma. Today he was our math professor for today. We had a math class with him, and we learned about squaring and prime factorization and a couple of other things. So would you like to say anything about that?
Sure. We were working on prime factorization for finding out the square roots and why the square roots are important, because we want to study the nature of numbers. And numbers are important because they are used in many settings in life, in every aspect of life. I'd like you to read a book called A Day Without Number. Have you read that book?
No.
No? You should get it from the library. So this child, this young person asked his mother, "Can I have a day without any numbers?" So why do you want a day without numbers? I don't like numbers. I want a day without numbers. Would you like to have a day without numbers?
No.
No. But he wanted. So guess what happened? So the mother said, all right, we will have a day without numbers. We will not have any numbers whatsoever around us. So in the morning, they couldn't get up at time. Guess why?
Because there were no numbers.
There was no alarm clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they didn't get up in time. Then he said, I want some omelette. Guess they couldn't cook.
Because they didn't know how long to cook it for.
That's right. And also what temperature to put it on,
Yeah.
right? So they couldn't have that. And then when they went to the bus, where they would pick up the bus, they were late. Guess why?
They didn't have a watch.
That's right. So all day long they were messing up in the day. So at the end of the day, he said, Mom, can I have the day with numbers? Our life is filled with numbers,
Mm-hmm.
small and big,
Yeah.
simple and complex,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Professor Sharma, would you like to tell us maybe, have you taught at many schools before?
Yeah, I go all over the world. I see lots of students from kindergarten to high school, and I train teachers. And I was a professor at a university, and mathematics has been my field. But now I'm interested in how children learn math, or why they might have difficulty learning math, and what can we do so that they can do better in math.
Yeah.
Because today, in the technological society, the world filled with science and technology, it is very important to be better in mathematics. So my goal is helping children to become better in mathematics.
Mm-hmm. Okay, about one more question. Are we going to have another class with you?
You might,
We might.
but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we get it. It's all about the numbers. Electoral votes, final scores, prices. Here's what we think about the importance of numbers in our lives.
Impacted my life because I am a fencer. I fence with swords. And if I didn't have numbers, I wouldn't know how bad I was beating my opponent. And so that's a very important thing to me.
Numbers are important in my life because I need to know what kind of numbers I need to punch into my microwave.
There you go. Because what happens when you put too much time on a bag of popcorn? Okay, wait a second. What happened yesterday? Tell me. Hang on a second. Well, tell me why is that so funny? Tell me what happened.
It's just ironic. I don't know.
Tell me the story. What happened?
I burned a bag of popcorn.
Yesterday.
How much did you put how many minutes in the microwave?
30 minutes.
30 minutes for a 3.5 minute bag of popcorn. So what happened to that popcorn? What color was that?
Red.
Numbers are really important because they allow me to calculate what I want and how much of what I want. Also, it helps me tell the time, so you can say, it's middle sun o'clock. That doesn't make sense.
I think numbers are important because they kind of record mostly everything that's ever happened, and they reflect reality so that you can see what's happening, like a graph that goes, oh, yay, we're earning more money every year. So that's why numbers are important in my life.
Good.
Well, I mean, if you can never do anything right, because I don't think the world could even function if nobody used numbers, because they're just so important.
Yeah, well, if we didn't have numbers, we wouldn't know the dimensions of the room, the dimensions of the carpet, how big you need your carpet. And we also use time, kind of like the video camera you're using right now.
I learned that numbers reflect everything around us, and if we didn't have numbers, the world would be a very disorganized place. Like, we wouldn't have technology, we wouldn't have speed limits, we wouldn't have cooking temperatures, we wouldn't have a lot of things, and I think that's very important.
Well, I like numbers because I don't really want to be late to everything, and plus I like to eat and I don't want to burn everything that I make, so that's why numbers are important.
Well, numbers are so important in my life just because
They mean a lot. They would mean a lot of things, and like Professor Sharma, he's a professor of math. But numbers aren't in just math. They're almost in everything: science, history. They're numbers, they're years, dates, everything. They all.
We work with 2 teachers every day. Mr. Culbertson is new to Riverbend. He teaches math and science, and Miss Westner teaches English and history. Riverbend Today's Philip Mason and Alexander Kochling talked to Miss Westner. Check it out.
And I'm here with Miss Westner, and we're going to talk today about teaching history class with 9 boys. So, Miss Westner, what's it like teaching history class with 9 boys?
It's been interesting. There's certainly a lot more energy than in some years past, but you guys have lots of interesting things to say, and I enjoy it. I enjoy all the energy that is in our classroom every day.
How has it been different from other classes, like, say, last year?
How's it been different? I think that the main thing I've noticed is how enthusiastic you guys are about each other. We talk about this a lot, but you guys really like each other, which is great, but sometimes we actually have to remind you to, leave each other alone a little more so we can do school.
All right. What do you think about the new teacher, Mr. Culbertson?
I really have enjoyed teaching with Mr. Culbertson. I mean, I enjoyed teaching with the previous teacher too, but Mr. Culbertson has brought a lot of energy too, and a different perspective. He views his subjects differently, and I've appreciated his point of view. I also like that he's so interested in what we're doing in English and history too, so we have much more of a conversation about all the subjects together than we used to.
All right, well, thank you for talking to me today, and I'm Philip for Riverbend Today. Thank you for watching.
Hi, I'm Alexander Kochling for Riverbend Today, and here with me today is our history teacher, Miss Westner. So, Miss Westner, what would probably be your most favorite topic in history class?
My favorite topic in history, that is a difficult question because I majored in history, and I don't know if you guys know this, but actually when I was in college, I meant to do something completely different. I meant to go to medical school, so I majored in history just for fun, because that's what I could fit in around the sciences, and I did it because I love it. So it's really hard for me to choose. But I have to say, I particularly like the Middle Ages, or the period of time where the world was coming out of the Middle Ages, and I really like the 20th century too.
So, what else would you have chosen if you wouldn't choose history class?
Like do you mean if I weren't teaching history?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough question. I just like teaching. And I did think about teaching science for a while, but I don't know as much science as Mr. Culbertson does, so I'm glad I stuck with history.
Well, that was nice to know. Thank you, Miss Westner.